Have you ever felt a persistent itch in a certain area of your body and thought, it's probably just dry skin? Most of us have, but for older people, an unexplained itch is more than just a skin issue. Sometimes, it's the body's way of trying to speak up, whispering one last warning before a serious health problem becomes a problem. The human body, especially after we hit 60, begins to change in subtle ways. It no longer sends out the clear signals it did when we were younger. Instead, it tells you that you're unusually tired, that aching back, or even that one area of skin that itches for no reason. And it's those little signs that we need to learn to listen to. Because if you ignore it, you may be unintentionally ignoring a warning from the liver, the kidneys, the nervous system, the blood vessels, organs that are having difficulties that you do not know about. The scariest thing is not that those itches are uncomfortable. The scariest thing is that they silently reflect potential damage inside the body. Things that, if not detected in time, can silently shorten your life day by day. And that is the reason why we need to sit down today, to explore together 4 special itchy locations on the body that the elderly are not allowed to ignore. These are not idle guesses or word-of-mouth rumors. These skin areas have been noted by doctors and researchers as being closely related to serious disorders in the body, from circulatory failure, liver and kidney damage, chronic nervous tension, to prolonged micronutrient deficiency. If you live with your parents, grandparents, or are middle-aged or older yourself, it's time to stop for a moment and listen to your body in a whole new way. Because who knows, that itch you've been ignoring for weeks might be your body's final warning before it gives out. Stay until the end of this video, because understanding the true meaning behind those itches will not only help you live longer, but more importantly, help you live more mindfully, healthily, and peacefully every day that remains. Let's start with the first place, where many seniors often complain about a persistent itch, but few people think it's related to cardiovascular health, the lower legs, including the calves, shins, and ankles. Itching in this area is often attributed to simple reasons such as dry skin, weather allergies, or wearing pants that are too tight. But if you notice that this itch appears regularly, without a clear rash, and is often worse after sitting for a long time or at night, don't be too subjective, because this can be a manifestation of blood circulation disorders, specifically peripheral artery disease, a dangerous sign that seniors are susceptible to, but are easily overlooked. When blood cannot circulate smoothly to the lower extremities, the tissues there begin to lack oxygen. The skin becomes drier, loses its natural moisture, is easily irritated, and thus causes itching. But the problem doesn't stop at the skin. Impaired blood circulation in the legs can be an early sign of heart failure or coronary artery disease, which is the leading cause of stroke and heart failure in the elderly. Imagine the story of 2 men, both 80 years old, Mr. Men and Mr. Than. Mr. Men still maintains the habit of walking lightly every morning, occasionally lifting his feet up on a chair when resting, and drinking enough water every day. He still feels his legs are light, with little itching or numbness. Meanwhile, Mr. Than, due to poor health, often sits watching TV for long periods of time and is sedentary. Recently, he has been experiencing persistent itching in his legs at night, sometimes scratching until his skin turns red. He applies all kinds of lotions, thinking it is simply due to the dry weather. But what he doesn't realize is that his body is lacking blood to the tissues of his lower limbs, causing his legs to no longer have enough nutrients and moisture, and that itching is the alarm bell. Doctors call the legs the second heart, because the muscle groups here help pump blood back to the heart. When the legs are weak and not used enough, the blood flow becomes sluggish. The heart has to work harder and the entire circulatory system is affected. If left for a long time, the risk is not only numbness in the legs, swelling or itching, but also more serious consequences: blood clots, heart attacks, or dementia due to prolonged lack of blood to the brain. But the good news is, this is one of the easiest problems to improve if detected early. You don't have to run or do high-intensity exercise. Just start with a few simple movements such as rotating your ankles, flexing your calves while sitting, walking for 10 minutes every morning, or putting your feet up against the wall for 15 minutes every night. In addition, drink enough water, eat less salt, avoid leaving your feet cold for a long time, and if possible, use medical socks to support circulation. So if you or a loved one is experiencing persistent itchy legs with no rash, no insect bites, no allergies, Take it serious. Don't let your body repeat this signal over and over again. It may be trying to tell you, I need blood, I need movement, I'm getting weaker, and you can change that, starting today. The second place on the body where itching may be trying to convey a serious message is the upper and middle back, especially between the shoulder blades. This is an area where many older people experience a dull, gnawing itch, sometimes only at night, sometimes all day long. And often the first instinct is to blame the sweater, the laundry detergent, or the dry weather. But if there is no rash, no bleeding, and you have changed your body wash and it still doesn't help, then put aside the usual excuses, because most likely, your body is sending a signal from deep within, from the liver or kidneys. The liver and kidneys are the two organs primarily responsible for filtering toxins from the blood and eliminating them through urine, stool, or sweat. When the function of either of these organs is impaired, the amount of waste that is not completely eliminated begins to accumulate in the blood, and when the body is overloaded with toxins, the skin, the largest excretory organ, will become the first place to receive and react. The most specific manifestation, prolonged itching with no clear cause. Many elderly people have experienced itching on the back, unable to sleep, but it has nothing to do with the liver or kidneys. The simple reason is because the itching is not too intense, and we easily ignore it. But imagine you are scratching the same area in the middle of your back every night, while the liver may be accumulating fat, or the kidneys are filtering poorly, causing blood urea to increase every day. That is no longer normal itching. It is itching from an internal imbalance, a silent loss of control in the body's filtering and excretory system. Let's look at the story of two women, both 76 years old, Mrs. Mai and Mrs. Lam. Mai still maintains drinking enough water, eating less fat, and having regular health checkups every 6 months. Meanwhile, Ms. Lam has a habit of eating salty foods, drinking little water, and sleeping poorly. Recently, Lan often has an itchy back in the middle of the night, and sometimes she can't sleep at all because she can't stand the stinging sensation. She applied ointment, changed the type of bed sheet, and stopped using fabric softener, but all were in vain. And what she didn't expect was that after a general examination, the doctor discovered that she was in the early stages of chronic kidney failure, a silent but dangerous disease. The good news is that these warnings through the skin come very early, even before the test results change much. The problem is whether we listen or not. If the persistent itching in the back is accompanied by symptoms such as prolonged fatigue, little urination, slightly swollen ankles, or a feeling of heaviness in the abdomen, then it's time to see a doctor for liver and kidney function tests. In terms of care, you can reduce the burden on your liver and kidneys by drinking enough water every day, at least 1.5 liters, reducing processed foods, limiting alcohol and unnecessary painkillers. In addition, consider using liver-supporting herbs such as artichoke, Phyllanthus urinaria, milk thistle, but only use them under medical guidance. The body always tries to protect you, but when the internal organs are weak, it has no choice but to use the skin, where you can feel, to call for attention. An itch in the middle of the back is no small matter. If you know it, can be the first cry for help from the liver and kidneys, two soldiers silently keeping you healthy every day. Don't let them fall silently. Now let's move on to an area that seems to be overlooked: the scalp and back of the neck. For many older people, an itchy scalp or back of the neck is often blamed on gray hair, dandruff, the wrong shampoo, or simply a natural reaction to aging. But if you've changed your skincare products and the itch persists, without obvious redness or peeling, it could be something much more important. Your nervous system is reacting. The scalp and back of the neck are home to a large number of sensitive nerve endings. When the body is in a state of prolonged stress, nervous fatigue, or impaired brain function, these nerves can become abnormally stimulated, resulting in an itchy sensation without a specific physical cause. It's not an itch caused by allergies or bacteria. It's a nervous itch, an invisible but very real itch that's often underestimated. Think of your body as a complex electrical system. When the circuit is overloaded by anxiety, insomnia, loneliness, or small daily stresses that accumulate, the wires, the nerve fibers, will start to react incorrectly. The feeling of itching is the first manifestation of interference. And the older you get, the more sensitive your body is to such mental interference. because the brain's natural ability to regulate stress is no longer as flexible as before. Take, for example, two men who are both 77 years old, Mr. Luke and Mr. Hoa. Luke still maintains the habit of chatting with friends every afternoon, taking care of the small garden behind the house, reading books and practicing breathing regularly every morning. Meanwhile, after retirement, Mr. Hoa gradually withdrew, lived with less communication, regularly followed negative news and slept poorly. Gradually, Mr. Hoa began to feel itchy on the head in the evening. The feeling of discomfort persisted, but the cause was unknown. He changed shampoo, bought a new pillowcase, but the situation did not improve. What he didn't know was that his nervous system was under chronic stress, and the itch was his brain's way of silently responding to its overload. Recent studies have also shown that unexplained head and neck itching in older adults can be related to mild neurological disorders, such as peripheral neuritis, or even an early sign of dementia. That's not to say that every itch is dangerous, but it should never be ignored, especially if it's persistent or accompanied by mental fatigue, difficulty sleeping, or recent memory loss. The good news is that the nervous system can be calmed with some simple changes. A few minutes of deep breathing each day, listening to soothing music before bed, turning off the TV an hour earlier, or simply calling a loved one for a chat. All of these things can help calm the nervous system. Additionally, activities like meditation, writing in a journal, or taking a light morning walk have all been shown to reduce stress-related itching in older adults. If you're itching on your head or neck for no apparent reason, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, have I been overly stressed lately? Am I feeling lonely? Is my sleep really deep? Because sometimes the itching doesn't come from the skin, but from unheard thoughts, unexpressed sadness. And if you take the time to care for your mental health, you may find that not only does the itching go away, but your mind becomes lighter and more peaceful every day. We've talked about circulation, the liver, kidneys, and nerves, but there's another extremely important factor that is often overlooked when it comes to senior health: nutrition. And if you've ever felt a dull, radiating itch in your chest or abdomen, especially at night or after days of irregular eating, it's very possible that your body is lacking essential nutrients to maintain healthy skin, the immune system, and the nervous system. Many older people maintain a normal weight and think that their body is still fine, but in fact, a body can be nutritionally thin even without losing weight, because the aging process causes the ability to absorb nutrients through the small intestine to decline over time. Especially important micronutrients such as vitamin B12, zinc, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and protein substances that play a role in nourishing skin cells, stabilizing nerves, and regenerating tissues. Lack of these substances not only makes the skin dry and itchy, but also disrupts the activity of the nerves under the skin, causing an unexplained itching sensation, even though the skin surface is completely normal. The story of two 81-year-old women can help us visualize more clearly: DM and Mrs. Hong. Mrs. DM eats little, but always focuses on the quality of her meals: green vegetables, a little fish, a handful of brown rice, a few slices of avocado or boiled eggs. She even supplements with fish oil and drinks milk every morning. Meanwhile, Mrs. Hong often skips meals, eats irregularly, sometimes only eating a few pieces of biscuits, a bowl of white porridge, or a can of soup to get through the day. Gradually, Mrs. Hong began to feel itchy in her chest and abdomen, a mild but persistent itching, making it difficult for her to sleep and losing patience. She applied cream, changed her shower gel, avoided wearing tight-fitting clothes, but all in vain. It wasn't until a blood test showed she was severely deficient in vitamin B12, and her albumin levels, an important indicator of nutritional status, were very low, that she understood. The itch was a silent call from a body lacking nutrients. When the abdomen or chest area is itchy for a long time without obvious skin lesions, it is very likely that you are lacking nutrients to nourish the sensory nervous system, especially in areas with many nerves like the upper body. The immune system will also weaken. The skin will be prone to mild inflammation, leading to an itchy reaction, not immediately dangerous but will lead to fatigue, slow recovery, and more susceptible to disease. The good news: this is the easiest problem on the list to improve. You don't need to completely change your diet. Just add a little bit to your daily meals: a boiled egg, a few slices of avocado, a spoonful of chia seeds, a glass of warm milk at night, or a handful of cashews, walnuts, or simply a spoonful of olive oil mixed with vegetables. Even if you eat less, talk to your doctor about taking a multivitamin specifically for older adults to make sure your body isn't secretly deficient. That itchy stomach or chest is more than just a superficial feeling. It can be a very clear reminder that inside you, you're getting weaker, little by little, day by day, not because of a major illness, but because you lack the nutritional building blocks to maintain a strong foundation of health. And if you listen in time, you can restore your vitality before those small deficiencies develop into big problems. Now it's time to look back at all that's been going on. An itch on the lower leg could be a warning from a sluggish circulatory system. The upper back could be where the liver and kidneys speak up when the body starts to accumulate toxins. The scalp and back of the neck reflect a state of silent tension, unspoken nervous burdens, and the abdomen and chest, seemingly unrelated areas, could be the clearest evidence of nutritional deficiencies. A silent hunger that is not of the stomach but of the cells. All these itches, seemingly small, seemingly insignificant, are the body's way of speaking out when there is no other way. They don't scream, they just gently touch with a little tingle, a little prick, as if asking you, are you paying attention to me? The important thing is, none of these itches appear in the elderly without a reason. And what's even more fortunate is that all 4 types of itching can be intervened early and significantly improved if recognized and treated promptly. No need for complicated medications. No need for expensive therapies. Just pay a little attention, be patient, listen, and adjust every day. Your body, even when it's old, always has the ability to recover if treated with kindness and awareness. The biggest lesson here is not fear the itch, but respect it. See each itch as a short message from your body. Don't rush to brush it off. Don't rush to silence it with a cream or pill, but ask, where does it come from? What is it trying to say? If you find yourself in one of the 4 signs above, don't panic. It's an opportunity for you to adjust your lifestyle. See a doctor sooner, drink more water, eat more nutritious food, sleep better, and most importantly, live with yourself more carefully. And if you don't see any signs, don't ignore them, because now you know how to look for them, to help your parents, loved ones, and yourself avoid problems that can silently shorten your healthy years. We all want to live long, but living long is not enough. We need to live long while still being alert, still able to walk, still remembering who our children and grandchildren are. And that starts not with medicine, but with recognizing the smallest signals that the body sends, even if it's just an unnamed itch. Thank you for staying until the end of this journey. Leave a comment below sharing what you find most interesting, or a sign you've experienced. We read them all, and sometimes it's your stories that inspire us to continue creating valuable content like this. If you find the video useful, please share it with your loved ones. Who knows, a small itch on your mother's back, or a constant scratching of your father's head, could be the thing that saves their health, just by listening a little more carefully than usual. Health begins with awareness, and sometimes the most valuable thing is not understanding the big things, but not ignoring the small things.